Hey guys, how's it going? Let me finish setting up this room real quick and then we can get started. It's like my YouTube account's kind of weird. But yeah, guys, let me finish setting up this room real quick and then we can get this all started. So I'm going to set up this YouTube room. This is going to be the weekly chart analysis for, what is this, April week 1 or March week 5? I don't know. I got to check the calendar. But yeah, it is March 28th. Looks like this month is about to be over. So it's been a pretty good month so far for us here at K2 for March. So we're going to wrap up this month pretty shortly. Let me check the calendar real quick. So let's see. Yeah, actually, this would be considered March week 5, I believe, right? Let me check this. Yeah, because this month ends on the 31st. So looks like we'll be wrapping up this month shortly. Let me just finish setting up this room and then we can get started. I got that all set up right there. Set this up. Then I'm going to send this link out to you guys so that you guys can follow on the YouTube and on the Zoom. So I'll send you guys a Zoom link in a little bit. I'm probably not going to mess with US 30 for a bit. Probably not for the rest of the night. If I do see some scalps, I'll let you guys know. But I'm probably not going to take any on the shorter time frame. If I see something on a 10-minute, then I'll call them for you. But I think on the shorter time frame, it's just a little risky right now because price is it's pretty choppy and sentiment is kind of high too. So if you guys look at the sentiment's actually 76% short. So taking short positions right now might, I mean, it might be fine right now, but I think once we enter London session or once we get close to it, you're going to see price start to shoot up a bit. So let me just send this link out to you guys real quick and then we can get started. Link right there. Yeah, nice work, Kia. So Kia just sent her profits right here in the K2 premium. So it looks like she's been stacking these profits pretty nicely. She's had small profit stack up, which is 100% correct. So if you guys are consistent and you guys just follow the strategy how it's taught, you guys should be able to lock in some pretty decent steady profits. So let me just finish sending this link out to you guys and then we should be good to go. So I'm gonna pin that. And then a few other places to send this link out to the I guess I'm getting I'm getting a ton of messages right now flooded in from Telegram. So if you guys are sending me messages on Telegram, I'm live right now, so I'm not gonna respond to you guys yet. I'll respond to you guys later. So it's not that I'm ignoring you guys, it's just that I'm on this live session right now. So I'm getting like a bunch of messages just right now. And I'll get back to you guys eventually, but just not for the next while or so. Let's see. All right, looks like we're good. So let me just finish posting this link up to you guys in the other groups, and we should be good to go. I think that's good. One other place is the Facebook and then the Instagram as well. So screenshot that. Post this up to the Instagram real quick. right, and then the last place I gotta post it to is gonna be the Facebook. And I think after that we're good. Copy this link over. All right, looks like we're good to go, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the chat real quick, see who's here, and then we can get started. So hey, how's it going, Jay? How's it going, Billy? Hey, Dennis. Hey, Dave. Hey, King Kong. Hey, George. Hey, everybody. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. Hopefully you guys got some rest up. I'm ready to make some more money, so I'm back to start. I'm back to hopping back into these trades and close out this month strong. We had a pretty good month so far, guys. So if you guys have been following us all month during these live sessions, let's see. I got the results here for March. So March so far, let's see. So I have all the results here for March. So these are all of the Forex trades. We had 14 wins and 3 losses for a gain of 274 pips just for Forex. And then for indices, we had 22 wins and 5 losses for a total gain of 7,500 pips. So it's been a pretty good month so far overall. It's been slower than the other months. If you guys have been following, so for our Forex trades, we generally had about like 531 pips for January, 501 for February, and 274 for March. There was a lot of news this month. So that's why it's been a lot less. But I mean, trading's up and down. It's not always going to be consistent. Some months will be bigger than others. Some others will be smaller than others. So, it's fine. Not a big deal. For indices, though, it looks pretty much the same. For January, we had about 7,000 pips. February, 8,950 pips. And then for March, right now, we have 7,500 pips. And we still have a week to go. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, guys, hopefully you guys had a great weekend. But let's get back to these charts here. Hey, Tiga, how's it going, bro? So today, if you guys are new here, if you guys aren't, basically Sunday is it's just the weekly chart analysis. We're not really going to get too deep into trades. We're more so going to be looking to mark up our charts for the week, specifically for Forex, so that we can know exactly the market structure as we enter the week. And then we're going to be looking for some scalps for US 30 as well, when we see them. So this is the Sunday Fun Day entry. This is one of Josh's strategies. So if you guys are familiar with Josh in the group, he's the one that created the 3-minute scalp strategy. So basically for this strategy right here, we basically wait for the market to, I'll just give you guys the requirements here. This is Josh. Josh's US 30 Sunday Fun Day strategy. And it's really easy. So first, you just look for the first valid K2 signal on market open. And then after that, you just enter on the open of the falling candle. So I haven't really gone over this with Josh. I'm not sure what the TP stop loss is. I know he goes back and forth between 750 and 150. So for example, if you're going for 750, I think it should have hit your TP already or close to it. Let's see. Yeah, so it already hit TP for this pretty much. If you guys took, Josh's entry here. So basically the market opened right here at, right here. So you can see the change right here from March 26th over to March 28th. So basically when the market opened right here, all Josh was looking for was the first valid K2 signal, which was right here. And that's why he took the sell right here. If you guys took that trade, you would have locked in some solid profit off that right there. I took it myself. I took a couple scalps actually. So I took that one and I took another small scalp after it as well. I didn't make that much profit. I mean, I made decent profit. It's not bad profit, so not like I'm complaining about it, but it was just something small. It's not something that I'm, used to. So those are the 2 scalps I took. This was a Sunday Fun Day entry right here, where I locked in 1,305, and then I took another scalp over here for 605. So not too bad so far overall. I'm going to be looking for some more trades, but that's pretty much all that I took for the most part right now. And I'm not really looking for anything else unless I see something that's really good. So let's see what else we got over here. So I think that's about it for right now. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the Forex watch list right here. I'm going to mark up my zones for the week so that we can identify market structure. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat right now, and then I can answer any questions that you guys have before we get started. Otherwise, I'm just going to go down the Forex list right here. I'm probably not going to answer any questions until I'm done drawing up my zones. And then after that, we can go into more questions. So Today's more so a Q&A day. It's not really going to be anything too crazy because the market is still kind of slow as everything reopens for the week. And we're not trying to force any trades, right? We're trying to take trades that are actually good. So if I see something good, I'll call it for you guys. If not, we're probably going to hold off until tomorrow, which, is completely fine. Oh man, I just saw this right now. Fallen King is like, bruh, dude, we always get these scammers in the groups. let me delete this real quick, or let me just boot them out. And we always get this stuff in like, all right, let me just look them up real quick because everyone's like tripping on the chat. Let me just go over real quick, guys. There we go. Block them out real quick. Man, this thing always cracks me up. It's funny because they're like in Aaron's group too. So if you guys are in Aaron's group, you can see we always get these scammers that pop in into the group. So I just deleted that. We delete them real quick. All right. So we're good right here. But yeah, guys, just if you guys are here in the premium, you guys can see like we always have a lot of people here who are sharing things. Like I think who shared their profits today? Kia. So Kia right here, she like left for a bit. Like Kia, I'm not sure if you're here in the live session, but Kia, she was in K2 before, and then she just had a new baby. So that's where she was gone for a couple months. She came back. She started trading our scalp strategy, and look how much profit she made for the day. Like this is literally from the day. So you can see the day stamp right there. She did pretty well for the most part. And it's pretty good. Like she's adding them up. So nice work to you, Kia. And we will try to go over some scalp today if I see anything. Hey, George, how's it going? So George is going to take a look at Gbp Chf. So that's our first question for the day. I'll pull up Gbp Chf for you right now. Hey, John, how's it going? Hope you had a good weekend. Let me just take everything off the chart, George. So here's a naked chart. I'm going to zoom out from this point. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the K2 indicator to identify market structure. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and draw my zones. We got a zone down here. We got another zone right here. Another zone right here. Another one right over here. And basically, if you guys aren't familiar with drawing these zones, whenever the zones overlap, we just merge them together. So we don't have like too many zones that are, overlapping. So there's the market structure for Gbp Chf. Once I do that, I turn off the K2 indicator, and you can see that we have perfectly drawn structure on the chart, right? So basically you can see that price broke into this structure on January 31st. So from January 31st, it pretty much just broke into here, went sideways for a bit, broke above. This is new market structure here from February 14th up until February 22nd. From this point, it went up, broke structure. So you guys can see here, if I mark this up for you guys can see the different market structures that were developed over time, right? So this will give you a picture as to, what to focus on. So for example, right here, we have market structure down here. This went on for about a month. It shot up to here, created new market structure right here, right? So from this point, it shot up to here. And currently, this is where price currently is. So just, focusing on what we're looking at here, this is going to be current market structure. So we don't really have to focus on what happened back here. What the real main focus is going to be right here. So we need to zoom in from this point, because you can see that things kind of split up, right? If I mark this up right here, you can see price broke up into structure. And then this is like one market structure right here. And then price broke up to here. This is another market structure, right? And then you guys can see that you can chop things up to know what to focus on. Because if you look like way far back here, this is kind of pointless, right? Because price is way up here. So that's why we're going to focus within this area. So I'm just going to delete this stuff right here. You can see price broke into this structure on March 2nd, and it's been pretty much just ranging within this area right here. So if I delete this, you can see this is perfect market structure, right? Price is just going back and forth from March 2nd up until March 28th today. So I'm going to put that back right there, and then you'll know exactly what to focus on just right here, right? So once we identify market structure, you can see the most important areas are going to be this right here and this down here. Because if price breaks above here, what do you think is going to happen from that point? It's going to keep shooting up, right? If price breaks below here, what do you think is going to happen from that point? Price is going to shoot down from here. So as you can see, like in the past right here, how I marked up the previous market structure, you can see that when price broke structure right here, what happened from that point? Price shot all the way up here, right? Market structure again right here. What happened when price broke market structure right here? It shot all the way up here, right? Same situation. You just, if you're able to identify market structure, you'll know exactly where to trade. You won't be taking bad trades. For example, right here, price broke market structure again. What happened from this point? Came back up, broke structure down here. What happened from this point? Came back down, broke market structure again right here. What happened from that point? And it just bounces from structure to structure. So if you're able to identify market structure, you know, it opens up a whole bunch of different opportunities for you to focus on when you guys are taking these trades. Because a lot of people, I mean, trading shouldn't be that difficult, right? I feel like a lot of people overcomplicate it. If you're able to identify this market structure right here, you already know what's important. If price closes above here, then you take the buy. If price closes below here, we take the sell. But since price is between these two market structures, what we're going to do is we're going to try to identify scenarios, right? So that we know like when to take trades and when to sit out. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator. And right here, we have a bullish bias, right? Reason for the bullish bias is because we have a buy signal right here indicating that momentum is swinging upwards. So we have a rejection from this point right here. We got a bullish momentum right here. Price reached the structure right here. It retraced back down. So what do you think is going to happen from this point? There's two main things that can happen from this point. We have a bullish bias right here. So what could possibly happen is price can probably shoot back up above here. And then as soon as it closes above the structure, this is where you can take the buy. You don't want to trade within this area because price can reverse on you like at any moment. So you want to be patient and wait for this to actually confirm the move before you actually take it, George. So basically right here, I would wait for price to close above the structure, which would be at 1.29897. If price closes above here, like what happened over here, look, check this out. See when price broke above the structure right here? What happened from that point? If you took the buy right there, boom, what do you see that? Full TP right there, 168 pips, right? Same situation right here. Price broke below the structure. What happened from this point? If you wait for it to close below that structure, you take a sell right there. What do you see right there? Full TP, 142 pips. Same situation right here, right? It's the same pattern, just keeps repeating itself. Price broke structure right here. After we identify the structure, full TP again for another 173 pips, right? So you guys just got to be smart about it. And you guys got to be, you know, pretty much just patient with it. Like, don't try to rush trades. Like, for example, right here, I would probably take a trade if it broke above the structure, but I'm not going to take trades when it's inside the structure because price can easily reverse on you. So like, you know, just looking at this here, George, I would probably wait for it to close above here. It's not even that far, like from right here for the structures, it's only like 40 pips. So you're probably not going to have this entry by today, but you might have it by tomorrow. So, you know, what I would do is just wait for it to close above here. Vice versa, if you end up getting a sell signal, so if I turn on the momentum right here, if you end up getting a sell signal and it closes below here, then you could possibly take a sell. I mean, I'm probably not going to, I wouldn't take the trade here because it's probably like not worth your risk. It's only 30 pips. So I would, if you wanted to take a sell, I would wait for that rejection down here. And then I would wait for that sell signal, wait for it to close below here. I mean, this might not happen, you know, tomorrow. It might happen towards the end of the week. But if that happens right here, I mean, you got a long way to go down here. You got a lot of pips to catch right here. So that's one way to do it. Let me see if there's any higher zones here real quick. Just, you know, so we identify if there's any areas of risk. So let's see, daily, nothing there, weekly. All right, cool. So the weekly zone is going to be right here. So obviously the weekly zone is going to be a bit strong. But let me go back to the 4 hour. Even if price was to close above here, you would still have some space to catch, you know, some pips right here. So if you took a buy right there, you could still catch this for, let's see, like 50 pips or so. Like it's going to be about 55 pips to the next zone. But I would, you know, obviously just to incorporate a spread, I'd probably do like 50 pips. So you got space there. I mean, to make some profit. And GC or this specific pair, Gbp Chf, this generally provides, you know, more profit because it's a euro pair. So I think you should be good. Nice, nice. George said I only trade that pair. Perfect. Got it. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I would just be patient with it, George. And then once you get that confirmation, I would take that trade because otherwise you're probably just going to have price, you know, ranging within these two zones, you know, for the time being. So, oh, my bad, guys. Let me send the Zoom link to you guys as well for you guys in the premium. Forgot to send you guys. All right, let me get this link out over to you guys real quick, and then you guys can join in for you guys that are in the premium. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the questions right now. If you guys have any other questions, put them in the YouTube chat, and then I can cover, whatever you guys want me to, really. But for the time being, I'm just going to go down the Forex pairs, and then I'm going to just going to mark up all the market structure for every pair so that we know what we're going to be looking for the upcoming week. All right, so that's it for Gbp Chf. I pretty much got this whole watch list right here. So I'm just going to go down this entire list. I'm probably going to go through it really quick. I'm not really going to focus too much on it, because if you guys have specific questions for specific pairs, I'm going to analyze those more in detail, because I know a lot of you guys don't even care about these Forex pairs anymore. More you guys are focused on these scalps, since that's, this is what's making us the most profit overall. More consistently, right? Because the Forex market kind of died down a bit. It kind of slowed down this past month. There was a lot of news events. So this month has been kind of slow. Let me check the news events this month, actually, or this week, to see if there's anything we should be looking out for. There's not too much news, so market's probably going to be a little slow, but it is NFP. So we're probably going to pick up around Wednesday. So I think Sunday to Tuesday is going to be a little slow. And then I think around Wednesday up until Friday, it's going to start to pick up a lot more. So I mean, it could be a good or bad thing, depending on how we perceive it. But I mean, it's all good. Anyways, let's see. Lloyd said, currently looking at some sells for AUD USD. What do you think, bro? So Lloyd, let me check out AUD USD for you before I start marking up the charts. So let's go to AUD USD real quick right here. Signal for US 30. Let me check that real quick. All right, cool. All right, so here's AUD USD. I'm gonna delete everything off the chart, zoom out from this point, and first I'm gonna draw some market structure. So let's start off with drawing this market structure here. Draw a zone up here. Draw a zone right there. We got some zones right here. Another one right here. These over here overlap, so we're gonna draw one big zone right there. I'll draw one big one right here because they all kind of overlap each other. And then lastly, we got two more right over here. So we got one right there, and this one below, I can just merge these together. All right, so once we have that market structure drawn up, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out from this point. You guys can see that price has kind of been ranging within this area for a long time now. So price broke into this structure back in, if I just mark it up from here, you can see price broke into this structure on about December 16, 2020. So last year in December, price broke into this structure. It is consolidated back and forth right here. It finally broke outside right over here on February 18th, but then it came right back down. So it was only up there for about a couple of days, February 18th up until February 26th, and then it broke back into this area. So, just looking at current price right here, we'll know what to focus on. The main focus right here is going to be this area right here, basically this zone down to this zone right here. Obviously these zones right here help out a lot, but if you just delete everything from here, you can see that the main zones right here are going to be this upper zone and this lower zone right here, right? We're going to keep these zones on because they're still relevant, they're still important, but you guys can see obviously the main zone is going to be up here at about 0.78395 and below here at 0.75831. So it looks like AUD USD tried to fake people out last week. It broke below here and then it pulled right back into this area. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator to identify our bias. So right here, we got a bullish bias right over here. So we got a rejection off this point. We got a buy signal right here. Price broke and close above structure right here on the 26th, which was Friday. And here we are. So at this point right now, we have a bullish bias. We're probably going to be looking for some buys until we get a sell signal. But we can play out scenarios right here. So currently right here, we have a bullish bias. What I see happening here is, so Lloyd, check this out. Price broke this structure. It came back down for a retest. And what I personally think is going to happen is it's probably going to bounce off here and just shoot back up. Let's check out the indexes real quick to confirm that move. So if you guys want to have an extra confirmation, you can pull up the index. So for example, here we're trading the Aussie dollar versus the US dollar. So if you guys want to confirm that, you can just pull up the Aussie dollar right here, AXY. This is going to be the Aussie index. And then you pull up the DXY over here, which is the dollar index. So looking at these two right here, in order for us to be looking for a buy, you know, obviously right here we have a bullish bias. In order for us to be looking for a buy right here, we want the Aussie dollar to be stronger than the US dollar. So as you can see right here, it's trying to push up. It's like attempting to push up, but on the other end, the dollar over here is also trying to push up, right? So with that said, if they're both strong right now, I mean, they're both not technically strong, but if they're all both pushing up, then you can expect this to continue pushing up from where it currently is. You know, looking at this here, the Aussie dollar is obviously, you know, overall it's bearish. It could be, so there's two things that can happen right here. Price can reject off this point. And let me just draw this right here. Price can reject off this point right here, and then it can come back down. Vice versa, you know, with the US dollar, this can go either way. It can either go up or it can go down. So price is a little indecisive right now because they're both kind of trying to push up, but they haven't necessarily established whether they're going to keep pushing up or whether they're going to come down. The problem with this right here is that the market is just opening. The US market hasn't opened yet. So volatility for the DXY is going to be slow, while the Aussie index is going to be a little bit quicker because the Aussie market is actually open right now. So looking at this here, Lloyd, I mean, right here, I have a bullish bias, but this doesn't necessarily mean this is going to carry out tomorrow, right? Like tomorrow, a lot of things can happen from now until US session tomorrow, because when London opens, that's when you'll see more volatility and price can either go, you know, it can go one way or the other. But if we're looking at my current analysis of it right now, like right now, I have a bullish bias. The reason for that's because of this buy signal, right? Generally, if we have a valid buy signal like that, it's going to push up, you know, until we get a sell signal like this, a valid sell, then I'll be looking for some sells. But at this point right now, you know, I'm personally just looking for a buy because we have a buy signal right here. Also, it's a strong bullish candle right here. So a lot of things are pointing towards the upside. So we have, you know, a bullish signal right here. It's basically a break and retest right here. Broke structure, retested. It's going to shoot right back up. So I don't personally see any sells, you know, in the foreseeable future right now, Lloyd. So I'm not sure if you have like a chart that you want to send over where we can analyze what you looked at. You know, your analysis could be perfectly right. It's just, if you're asking me, I think it's bullish and it looks pretty bullish to me as well. So that's pretty much my analysis for the AUD USD right now. And, you know, it can change. So this next candle closes in about 3 hours. So in 3 hours or so, this can switch to a sell. You know, I don't know what's going to happen from now until then. But if you're asking me currently right now, I still see it as a buy. So that's pretty much my analysis for AUD USD. So I think that's it for the questions right now, guys. So if you guys have questions, just put them in the YouTube chat, and then I can answer your questions for you guys. But currently right now, I'm just going to go down the entire Forex list, and then I'm going to draw my market structure for this week. And if you guys want me to go deeper into any specific pair, just put the pair down, and let me know whether you want me to analyze it from, you know, the intraday analysis or for scalping, because I can do either one. But all right, so I'm going to go down this list right here. Once I'm done going down this list, I can go back to the question. But for now, I'm just going to go down the list. And before we start, let me just go down the scalps real quick to see if there's any entries that are available. So I don't really see anything here on the 10-minute. Let's see. You know, I think US 30 is going to be bullish right now because, like I was mentioning, the sentiment is super high on the short side right here. It's 75% short. That means that 75% of the retail traders are shorting US 30 right now. And I don't like to trade in the direction of everyone else. I like to trade opposite of everybody, right? So that's pretty much what I see happening right here. I'm thinking about just hopping into a buy right now. I mean, I should probably wait, but I'm trying to think what I should do because, all right, let me see this real quick. Let me see if there's any other zones here. If I see any other zones here that I could possibly, you know, hop into, and I might just take a speculative buy and like nothing too crazy, just something like, I'm going to mark this up different color so that I know these are other zones. Back on that 10. I know this is something a lot of you guys like to do. You guys like to go on these different time zones, time frames, and then mark it up from there. So let me see this real quick. Lloyd said, did we take any US 30 trades? Yeah, there's a whole bunch, bro. So if you want to rewind this replay, you can go see, because I already mentioned them earlier. We have the Sunday Funday entry that already hit full TP. This one right here. I mean, there's a lot of entries that were already taken, Lloyd. I'm not sure if you were following along to any of the messages earlier, but there was one right here. This is a Sunday Funday entry that hit full TP already. There's a couple of scalps that came through. There's a lot of scalps right here that came through already. So there was a scalp that was right here. This one was a loss. So this was a buy scalp. It lost right there. But there was a sell scalp right here as well. It hit full TP already. So this hit full TP right there. I mean, other than that, there's a lot of other things here that are, there's a lot of other trades that are available. So, I mean, depending on what you were following, Lloyd, I mean, there's a lot of different ones like the Sunday Funday entry that was available right there that I just marked up. This one, this was a Sunday Funday entry. And then we had one buy scalp here that lost, one sell scalp here that won. I mean, other than that, there's another buy scalp that's right here using Josh's 3-minute strategy. So it just, I mean, depends on what you're looking for. So that, I don't know if this is hit yet. Let's see, 25.50. Yeah, so this hit TP already as well. So depending on, whatever you're trying to apply, there is a bunch of entries that were available here. There's a couple of scalps that were available right there. This is a full TP. Yeah, this is a full TP right there. This is a stop loss right here for this one. But I mean, there's trades in both directions. So yeah, there's probably like about 3 or 4 trades that already hit. So probably like one loss or 50 pips. So here, let's map this out. So we got negative 50, we got plus 25, plus 25 right there. And then the Sunday Funday entry right here for 75 pips. That's another plus 70, right? Plus 75 right there. So total profit of 750 pips if you took every trade, but we didn't necessarily take all of them. I mean, I took like 3 of them. I took this one and I took this one for a loss. I took the buy for a loss. Took that for a loss. I took a sell for a win. And then I took the Sunday Funday kind of late. I entered it like right here in the middle. So that's why I showed my my profit on that earlier. So I think I showed it earlier. Let me see if I can pull it up on my M4 real quick. Yeah, so the two most recent scalps that I just took right now for that scalp and the Sunday Funday are right here. This is where I made the 1,305. This is from today, 29th or 29th their time. So 1,305 profit off the Sunday Funday right here because it's a bigger move. So there's more profit for this one, and then a small scalp off of this one right here, and that's where I locked in. That's where I locked in 605. But then I did have a loss for this one right here. So it balanced out. But it's all good, man. It is what it is. It's Sunday, and it's risky. It's a risky time for us to trade. So I'm not really trying to hop into anything. Not really trying to hop into anything right now, until I see something that's really good. If I see something that's really good, I'll take it. Let's see. Hey, Dennis. Dennis said 32,999. What are you referring to that, Dennis? Sorry, I'm not sure because I know you put the number there. I know you're referring to US 30, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. Like, is that like a price point that you're looking for, or let's see? I'm just gonna mark it up right here to see what you're. Yeah, I mean, I can see that point right there, Dennis. But is there like a reason for that price point right there? I mean, it's just like it's a pip away from 33,000, so I'm not sure what the difference of the numbers are for that. Because I mean, the whole number would be 33,000. So not sure if there's like a meaning behind that price point. If you could confirm, I can look at it, but I'm not sure what you're referring to with that specific number right there. All right, let me scroll down real quick. So King Kong said, does the premium groups provide signals only, or does it include, or does training include too? I'm new here, sorry. So King Kong, I mean, it depends on what you're signing up for. Signing up for the signals, and obviously you're only going to get signals, but if you're signing up for the strategies, then you have access to the strategies. So there's two options. If you just want the signals, then you'll sign up for just the signals. If you want access to these indicators and this, all these strategies that we're applying here, like basically all the profits here that you guys see in the premium, or not in the premium group, but like in all the groups here, like all these trades right here, I didn't call any of these sell trades. So if you want to learn the strategy here to, trade on your own, then you can sign up for the K2 strategy course right here. That's pretty much how everyone's locking in their own profits here. Because I only called one trade today, but there's like a whole bunch of trades here that, Kia took. She took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. She took 14 trades today, like on her own. Same with Marcus here. He took this own trade. He said he was trading off the 1 minute and 8 minute. So there's different ways that you can trade it. Same with the strategies or the trades from last week. So on the 26th here, I don't trade on Friday, but David traded, he traded the SPY. He did some options. He made like about 63 bucks. He traded it as well on his Forex account. He made about 70 bucks off there. Steven over here made about 58 bucks. Like all these trades that people took here, Trell took this for 700 profit. Joey took this for 2,000 profit. Like I didn't call any trades on Friday. So, or I did call someone during the live session, but most of these were taken on their own. So if you want to learn how to trade and you want to learn the strategies, you can click on the K2 strategy course right here for access to that. If you just want the signals, you can click on this as well. So, I mean, it just really depends on what you're looking for. If you want signals only, then you could get that. If you want to learn the actual strategy, you can click this right here. So I think that's about it for those questions. Let me see if there's anything else for me to look at real quick. But yeah, there are two different distinct things. Like obviously, if you want signals only, that'd be that. If you want strategy course, it'll be this right here. All right. See, Dennis said 1 minute structure for a buy. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Dennis, gotcha, bro. So let's see. Dennis was mentioning scalps. Let me just take this off right here. So let me check that out real quick. Turn on the pivots. Dennis mentioned that there was a entry here on the 1 minute. Oh, gotcha. Okay, Dennis. Yeah, no, I see right here. That's the one that you just referred to, right? This one right here. So I'll keep that marked up. I'm not going to take this trade myself because at that point, we're kind of just forcing trades. I mean, it's close, but it looks like it's not really rejecting off the structure right here, Dennis. So just looking at this right here, I can see what you're looking at. You're looking at this green candle right here, right? So this green candle right here, we have the rejection off the pivot, but we don't have the rejection off the structure because the body's still within the structure. So I mean, it's like right below it. Like it's too close for me to call it. So I wouldn't want to take this trade. But yeah, I mean, technically it looks like a decent entry, but it's not something that I would take because I would want something cleaner. Like I would want something like, let me see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dennis, it's a maybe trade. So if you want to take it, I mean, feel free. But I mean, you know how I trade, right? I don't like taking trades that are maybe. I want to take a trade that's 100%. And especially on a Sunday, it's just too risky for me. And I don't like to lose, so I probably wouldn't take it myself. But if you guys want to take it, you can take it. I just don't recommend it because it is a very risky trade. But a lot of things are pointing towards the upside. Like for one, if you guys look at market sentiment here, there's 75% of people are short. So what do you think the institutions and market makers are going to do? They're going to push price up, right? They're just going to stop everyone out. So we'll see what happens from this point. Here, let me look up this like a sweet spot here. So this is going to be the is that the all-time? No, it's not the all-time high. So I was thinking that this was going to be the all-time high, but it's not. The all-time high is like actually over here. It's going to mark it up. Let's see, it's 33,000. All right, so I'm going to mark this up right here, and I'm just going to put US 30 high, just so that we can keep an eye on where the all-time high is. This area right here too might be an area for people to enter themselves at this point. right, we got a 3-minute signal. Yeah, exactly, Dave. I agree with what Dave just mentioned too. Dave mentioned that Sundays haven't really established much of a direction yet. Exactly. So that's why I'm not really trading that much on Sunday. I just wait for stuff to settle before I take some trades, because you don't want to enter like any trades that are just going to reverse on you. Jeffrey's asking about USD CAD on the 4-hour. So I'll analyze that real quick before I go over the zones. So here's a USD CAD right here. I'm going to go ahead and delete everything off the chart. Here's the naked chart. I'm going to zoom out from this point. First thing I'm going to do is turn on the K2 SR indicator to identify market structure. So once we have that turned on, change the color back. All right, these over here overlaps. Let's draw one big zone. Again, right here, one big zone. Down here. And again, down here. All right, cool. So looking at USD CAD right here, I'm going to turn this off. Zoom out from this point. So as you guys can see, like we have some perfectly drawn market structure, right? You can see whenever price breaks into structure, it creates an area of market structure. So looking at current price right here, you can see that price broke into this structure. Let me see, vertical line. Price broke into this structure at about, let's see. Let's mark it up from here. So price broke into this structure on March 10th, and today is March 28th. So it's been in this structure for about, a little under a month. So price broke into the structure on March 10th. It just pretty much went from this area right here. It bounced down. So if I delete this right here, you can see that price has just been ranging within this area right here, right? It hasn't broken above, it hasn't broken below. And that's how we identify market structure. So looking at current price right here on the 4-hour, just looking at this from a bird's eye view, it's obviously bullish, right? So I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator to confirm the bias. So I'm going to turn this on right here. Obviously, it's been bullish since down here. So we had a rejection from this point down here. We got a buy signal right here. As soon as price broke structure right here, what happened from that point? It pushed up to the next structure right here, right? So if I turn off the momentum indicator, we still have a bullish bias. So looking at this right now, Jeffrey, what I kind of see happening from this point is if price ends up breaking above the structure and closes right here, and this would be where our entry would begin, right? So that's basically what I'd be looking for here. Since we have a bullish bias, I would be waiting for price to break and close above the structure, and then I would take the buy right there for about 70 pips. So that's basically, what I would be looking for from this point. Other than that, so let me see here's like, this is the main scenario. The main scenario here is that price breaks above the structure and closes, then we take the buy. Vice versa, if we end up getting a sell signal, because it can go both ways, like at any point from now until tomorrow, we can get a sell signal. And if we get a sell signal, it'll probably come down. As you can see right here, we got a sell signal. Whenever price broke and closed past the structure right here, it did the same thing in the opposite direction. So right here, sell signal, breaking close past structure, it dropped down to here, right? Same situation here, rejection, buy signal, close above the structure, it pushed up to here. So pretty much for this right here, Jeffrey, this is like what I'd be looking for. Obviously right now we only have a buy signal, so that's what I'm looking for. And that's why I have, my bias here is for a buy. So I want price to close above this structure right here so that we can take that buy. Vice versa, this can happen as well, because today is Sunday. So until market direction has been set, this can go either direction. So like another way that this can go is price can reject off this point. If we get a sell signal, somewhere around here, and then price ends up closing below here, then instead of taking that buy, you can take a sell instead, because it'll still be within the market structure, right? So if this happens, it's just going to reject off this point and then come back down. And then if you take that trade, it's going to push down to here, right? So until we get a sell signal, my bias is still going to be a buy because we have a buy signal here. If we get a sell signal though, our bias is going to change. So currently right now we're looking for a buy, but if we do get a sell signal, then we'll start looking in the other direction. But obviously if that doesn't happen today, which it probably isn't going to, market's probably going to be slow, especially because there's no news today. So today's clear, no news. It is Sunday, so everything's barely opening up. So, until then, we're just gonna be looking for a buy. But once you get a sell signal, we can change. So probably tomorrow, Jeffrey, I'll check it again for you. Once we enter US session, and then we can see as market volatility starts to pick up. Another confirmation we'll use is we can look at the indexes here. So I can pull up the DXY over here, the CXY over here for the Canadian dollar. And just looking at this here, it looks like, so the dollar index looks like it's pushing up. The Canadian index looks like it's pushing down, right? So with that said, this over here would probably continue pushing up. So if the DXY is strong, the CXY is weak, this is probably going to play out our bullish bias right here, right? Breaks and closes right there, and then it just continues pushing up higher and higher. So that's pretty much what I see happening for USD CAD. So other than that, let me check the chat real quick to see if there's any other questions. Yeah, Dave said you can sometimes start to see a trend bias develop after Asia session has closed if you check the 4-hour charts. You would like to see RR tracks. Yeah, no, definitely, Dave. You can do that as well. For me, I don't really go over those higher highs and lower lows though. I go over momentum. So if I see momentum going in one direction, then I look for the buys, right? If I see momentum coming the other direction, I take the sells. So, I mean, we trade differently here at K2. We trade based off momentum. We don't really trade off price action, like how you trade, Dave. So, I mean, there's no right or wrong way to trade. If that works for you, then you can trade that way. But over here, we trade mostly off momentum, and it's been working for us for years now. So, like what everyone says, don't fix something that isn't broken, right? So you can continue, you can merge your whatever education you have from trading, and you can merge it with K2. It's just when I analyze things, I don't necessarily look for higher highs or higher lows, because those higher highs and higher lows aren't always accurate, right? Like for example, here it goes from lower low to lower low, and then it just shoots up from right here. Because there's other factors that factor in when you're analyzing things. Like there's news events, there's sentiment, market sentiment, depending on what you're trading. And there's a lot of other things that come into play. Like price action by itself isn't necessarily going to be, price action by itself isn't necessarily going to be enough for you to do well. I mean, I'm sure you would know by now since you've been using it for a while, and you're still like struggling at this point. So this might be the extra thing that you need to increase, your confidence of trading and increase your win rate, depending on how you trade. Dave's asking, how do you know it won't be a false break, or is that what the momentum indie does? I mean, you'll never really know until it happens, right, Dave? You have to wait for that confirmation. So like, for example, right here, this would be like a false break, right? Comes up for a little break and retest, and then it comes right back down. So, I mean, you can never be 100% right, Dave. It just, you have to go with what the market gives you. Like if the market tells you it's a confirmation for a buy, then you take it for a buy. But there's other factors that go into analyzing these charts. You can't just, there's no cookie cutter pattern for you to just say, oh, price breaks, it's got to go up, right? Most of the time it does go up though. Price breaks right here, and we have a sell signal. So we got a sell signal right here. Price breaks, we take the sell. Like there's no reason for us to take a buy. We still have the sell signal right here. Price breaks, we take the sell. It still hits TP. Price breaks right here, we have a buy signal, we take the buy. Price breaks over here, we take the buy as well. So, I mean, that's how we trade here, like, and it's been working. So that's what we've been using. That's why we have a bias, like whenever we take a trade. It's not necessarily, there's no like guarantee whenever you trade. That's what I'm trying to say. Like we have a bias, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's like 100% going to hit. So we analyze the charts with what we have, and then we make adjustments as time continues. Sorry guys, I'm getting a ton of messages here on Telegram. So King Kong, if you want to message me on Telegram. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me right away. Unless you want to email me, you can email me at Shawn@k2trades.com, but you're probably going to get a late response from that. Dave said, never really had a decent momentum indicator before. Yeah, same here. That's why I created my own. Sometimes if you can't find one that works, you got to make your own indicator. And that's why I create all the K2 indicators here at K2. So these are all made by me, and this is what I've been using for like the past 5-6 years now. So other than that, guys, I think that's it for the questions right now. I'm going to go down the list and draw my market structure. And then from there, I'll answer some more questions. So if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. Otherwise, for now, I'm just going to go and mark up these zones so that we can identify market structure for the upcoming week. So I'm not really going to go and redraw everything because it's kind of pointless. I'm just going to go and see if anything has changed from last week. If things have changed, then I'm going to make adjustments. If not, I'm just going to hold off. So OddCAD's the same pretty much from last week. Last week was a really slow trading week, so we don't really have much change, right? Price has just been within the same structure from the previous week. So for example, right here, this was last week, right here, it didn't really move much. So that's why all of these structures are pretty much the same for the most part. So I'm just going to go through these really quick. If there's anything that needs to be adjusted, I'll adjust it. If not, I'm just going to make small little changes here and there. So for this right here, we have this point over here. All right. All right, I'm going to redo this because odd NZD is kind of messy. So here we have a naked chart here. This is what the chart looks like. I'm going to draw a market structure, turn on the K2 indicator. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw this down here. Draw this over here to cover this whole zone. Draw this right there. Draw this right here. I'm just going to create a small zone right here. And I'm going to get these higher zones as well. So let's go on the daily. So we got like a small zone right here. And then we got a zone up here. All right, so going back to the 4-hour, turn off the K2 indicator. It looks like price broke above the structure right here. So this is basically going to be the new market structure. It's going to be above this area. And it's probably going to push up to here. So that's kind of what I see happening right here. So anyways, I'm going to leave that alone for now. I drew that up. And we will move on to the next one. Oh, definitely, Dave. Yeah, no, for sure. Like for me, I like to keep things as simple as possible, right? First thing I do is I draw market structure, then I identify the bias. And that's pretty much it. From there, you can identify your scenarios. And there's not really much to it. I feel like a lot of people like to overcomplicate trading. They like having like a million indicators on the chart, when in reality, it's not really all that necessary. Like you only need like certain things to identify certain things that are important. Like first of all, identify market structure. That's number one. Identify momentum so that you know your bias. And then after that, that's pretty much it. I feel like a lot of people use like 10 or 12 indicators and they just get confused when they have too much stuff on their chart. So anyways, looking at K² Chf right here, I'm going to go ahead and draw. Okay, we already have that set up right there. So I have the setup from last week. This is fine. Move on to the next one. And I'm just going to zoom through all of these real quick, guys, because I know a lot of you guys don't really care about these Forex pairs anyways. You guys just care about the US 30 now, since that's what everyone's been locking in profits with. I mean, people have been locking in profits with the Forex too. Here, let me check actually. So let me just check everyone's profits from last week. So obviously you can see majority of profits here are US 30 because that's mainly what I trade now. Obviously right here, Kimmy, you know, see Mondra over here. So Mondra took all US 30, made about 1,000 last Friday. Ivaritus over here, he trades NASDAQ and US 30. I did call a couple of Forex trades last week and they all hit TP. But obviously you can see here, majority of people here trade US 30, obviously, right? Mark, Dimitro, John, Steven, because it's just easier. Like if we scalp you, like if you guys have been following me for a while, if you just scalp US 30, you can make more profit scalping US 30, like 488 there. Like Ed over here locked in a killing last week. He took all the trades. He locked in about 10,000 last week. So 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, like well over 10,000 last week on his account. But I do see some people here who trade. A majority of these people are trading, like Cheryl over here. She locked in about 1,700. She trades DAX 30, UK 100. And what else does she trade? S&P as well. I'm trying to, okay, so here, Kia. So Kia took my Euro USD trade last week. you can see that she locks in profits not only for US 30, but also for Forex pairs as well. So I called these trades last week. If you guys were following, you know, my signals last week, let's see, your USD. Yeah, so I called this trade on like last Wednesday, the sell entry for your USD. And, you know, obviously that hit full TP over here. So, I mean, depending on what you guys want to trade, I know a lot of you guys are more focused on US 30, but if you guys like Forex, like I'm still trading Forex as well. I just don't trade it as often because I only trade it on the 4-hour chart, on the 4-hour time frame, and the 4-hour candle only closes like 4 times a day. So if there's no entry on the 4-hour, I don't take it, obviously, right? But yeah, I mean, it works for everything. It just depends on what you guys want to trade. You guys don't have to limit yourself to one thing. Because I see a lot of people who limit themselves to like one pair and they get like no trades because the market sometimes isn't moving in the direction for that specific pair. Sorry, let me just finish drawing these zones real quick. All right, so that's pretty much it for that right there. CHF JPY right here. Clean this up. I got a lot of my drawings still up from last week because I don't really touch these as much. I only touch them when you guys ask me to analyze them for you. So let's see, this right here needs to be adjusted slightly. Let's delete that. Adjust that zone. So that's it for Euro odd. Next up, we have Eurocad right here. So there's a couple trades that we entered last week, or that I, you know, trade ideas that I gave you guys. A lot of them played out in profit. It was just market was kind of slow, so a lot of people ended up having to hold on to them longer than, you know, we usually like. I usually don't advise holding trades over the weekend. I'm not a swing trader, so it doesn't sit well with me. I mean, if you guys are a swing trader, that's fine. You'd probably be more comfortable holding stuff over the weekend. But me personally, I don't like holding stuff, you know, that far in. All right, so this looks pretty solid for the most part. Delete this zone right here. There's nothing there. I'll just delete all of these because they're not relevant at this specific time. And EG's a mess. Looks like this has been ranging for a bit. Delete this right here. EJ next. All right, so I'm halfway down the Forex pairs, guys. So after I'm done looking at this, I'll go back to US 30 real quick, see if there's any scalps available. And then, you know, we can continue on. So let's see. Everything looks good here for the most part. I'm just gonna, actually, I gotta adjust this right here. Like a lot of these zones over here overlap. So we got this zone that overlaps with this one. This one overlaps with this one. It's just one big zone. All right, delete this one right here. All right, so that one looks good. All right, let me go to US 30 real quick. I'm gonna see if there's any entries here that are available. Yeah, nothing there on the 10-minute. This looks like an entry off the Josh's. Oh no, sorry, it's a 5-minute. Yeah, no entry here. So let's go back to these Forex pairs. Euro NZD, check. On one thing, guys, so a lot of people are asking about, well, last week we covered it pretty in depth, like risk management. So if you guys didn't sit in on the session last Friday, you guys can rewatch that replay for that live session. I went into specific lot sizes and risk management for FTMO throughout that entire morning. So if you guys didn't get to see that, you guys can go back and rewatch that, and it'll probably answer a lot of your questions, because a lot of the questions asked there were the same questions that everyone else had. So if you guys want me to cover anything specific, you know, you guys can ask me any question today, because today is mostly a Q&A day anyways. So if you guys have any specific questions regarding risk management, FTMO, you know, if you guys have a problem passing FTMO, you guys can let me know and I can help you guys figure out what the issue is. because a lot of the times it's just improper risk management and over trading. That's really what it is for a lot of people. And sometimes you guys just need to hear from me to get it down. So I think I talked to, who did I talk to yesterday? I talked to Talanji, right? So Talanji, we talked about your issue with FTMO, and after having that session last Friday, it cleared up a lot of things for you, and you feel a lot more confident about passing it this time around. Because there should be no reason for you guys not to pass FTMO if you guys are here in K2. Like if you guys have been following all the trades that I give, even if you guys aren't even in K2 and you guys just copy my my scalp trades, there's a lot of people here who literally just sit in during these morning sessions, or not this afternoon session, but the morning sessions, and just copy my trades live, and they pass FTMO like super easily. Just taking those specific trades. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here to help you guys out. I want to make sure that you guys are fully prepared for this upcoming trading week. All right, Euro USD right there. That's done. So let's see how many pairs I got left. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I got 13 more pairs to draw my zones for. And then I should be able to move on to your questions. Hey, Paul, how's it going? So Paul wants me to take a look at the peso again. I said, sorry for asking again. I had to leave early that day for work. Never got to see your previous breakdown. No, it's all good, Paul. Today's a slow day anyways, because it is Sunday. So this is probably your best day to ask me questions. So if you guys have questions, just a reminder, this is probably the best day for you guys to ask anything, because once we enter the trading week, I'm going to be more focused on the scalp. So I might not even be answering questions like this whole week until we have some downtime. So if you guys have any questions, I'll answer all your questions today. See, I'm done with GA right there. But yeah, Paul, give me a second. Let me just finish drawing these zones. Once I'm done with this, I'll get through to your peso analysis. All right, so this looks pretty solid for the most part. Let's grab these lower zones over here. All right, got that right there. There's a huge zone down here. This one as well. Let's pull down a little bit. I looked at Gbp Chf. All right, GJ right here. Same zones from last week. So I'm not really redrawing all the zones, guys, because last week was a slow week. There wasn't too much volatility, so a lot of the zones are pretty much the same. I just got to make small adjustments here to fix, what we marked up last week. And I'm just gonna delete all my markups because it's a brand new week. You guys got to remember that whenever a new week starts, there's going to be new moves. It's not always going to be the same. So let me check this real quick. This looks pretty solid for the most part. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Let's gonna get this zone right here. There we go. We're good. All right, G real quick. Let's delete this one. Three-minute signal. I'll come back to that. That's probably going to close in the next 2 minutes or so. But guys, if you guys are looking at US 30, you guys can see that price isn't really moving that much, right? That's why I don't recommend you guys take any trades right here. If you look at US 30, literally it's just going sideways now. So kind of establish a small high right there, and then small low right here. So I wouldn't recommend trading US 30 right now, guys. It's just going to keep going sideways, and you don't want to get caught in a trade and then it ends up reversing on you, like once we enter London, because it is getting close to 8 o'clock. As we get closer to 10 o'clock my time, that's when volatility starts to pick up and it starts to go in a direction for London session. So I would be careful with that. Anyways, let me finish up GU real quick over here. This looks good. ZD-CAD. Make some adjustments off this one. Grab the lower zone right here. We got a zone right here. Delete this. And we got another one down here. All right, NZCAD right there. NZD CHF right here. All right, guys, I'm almost done with this. So once I'm done with this, we can go over more specific questions, and I can lay off these boring Forex pairs for a lot of you guys, since a lot of you guys don't like them anyways. We got a zone right here, and we got a zone right here. Delete that one. Looks solid. NZD USD. Let me just redo this. This looks kind of messy. Got that zone right there. Down right there. All right, much better. So there's those zones. Let me pull up the ones below it on the 8-hour, the daily. NZD USD super messy. I'm just going to draw one big zone right here to cover that whole area. This looks pretty solid because this is pretty strong. This is the daily resistance. So NZD USD might be coming down from this point. I'll take a look at that later. I looked at USD CAD already, USD CHF, make sure these zones are cool. I'm just going to delete all this. I'm just going to redraw everything because those arrows from last week kind of made it all messy. All right, almost done. Do I have anything else after this? Okay, just one more pair after this UJ, and then I'll go over your guys' questions. So I'll look over the peso for Paul, and then after that, we can start looking at US 30 for some scalps. All right, all done with this. One last pair, or actually, we need to get the upper pair of the upper zone here for USD CHF, since we don't have one. Oh, it's a big zone. All right, let me just fix this real quick. This is actually a huge zone. So USD CHF is actually within the daily resistance right now. Yeah, so just wait for that to break out. All right, one last pair, USD JPY, and then I'll move on to the questions. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat right now. Once I'm done drawing these zones right here, I'll be moving over to those questions. All right, so I think that's it. All right, so we're all done with this. Let me just check for the higher zones over here, and then we should be good. Yeah, no zones. All right, so I think we're good right here. And the next zone is like pretty far out. It's like way above. All right, we're good. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna step away for 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So let's see. Cool. So the first question is from Paul. We're gonna look at the peso real quick. Let's see. Paul also mentioned, by the way, I said in the previous chat that US 30 would retest 32,132,000. And it bounced right off. It caught by limit order and made Serious Bank TP at 33,000 even. Yeah, no, definitely I could see that. The reason for that as well, that I can see it pushing up like that, is that sentiment is super high. So looking at sentiment right here, a lot of people are short, right? So the thing is, you don't want to trade where everyone else is trading. You want to trade the opposite, because that's what the institutions and market makers do, right? The institutions and market makers aren't going to make money if they push price in the direction where everyone's trading. So if everyone's trading short, they're going to do the opposite. They're going to push price up, right? Because they're not going to make money if they let all the retail traders win. Obviously, if you guys know the numbers, like majority retail traders don't win at trading. So that's why you guys can't trade like the retail traders. I mean, you guys can, and best of luck to you. But if you trade how everyone else is trading, you're probably not gonna last very long, because luck only lasts so long. And I mean, you guys can even Google it. So like, let me see, retail trader success rate. All right, so if you guys look here, you guys can see that after 5 years, only like 7% of traders like continue to trade, right? So what's the percentage of day traders that are successful? There's only about 3 to 5 to 45% of day traders who are successful. So thing is, if everyone's trading for a short, you're not going to want to short that. And if you guys have been following all the profits that everyone makes in K2, we're pretty consistent. So these are all profits here. Like I can go to any day, and you guys can see that everyone here profits every single day. So like if you guys follow, like I give you guys a blueprint to trade exactly how we do. Like Trello over here made about 1,878 that day. Luke over here made about 617. Gerald made about 400. Tam over here made a couple $100. And you guys can see that, like just by looking at the data here, this should give you an idea of like that you guys shouldn't be trading the same way that everyone else is trading. So looking at sentiment right here, if everyone's short, that's basically why I would take longs too, because Paul mentioned, he identified a bounce off. Let's see. So Paul mentioned the bounce off. Let me just draw that over here real quick. Let's see, Paul said 32,000 right there. Oh, let me just fix that real quick. I think I had to add another zero to it. So 32,000. Wait, was that right? Retest of 32,000. Oh, he's like missing a number. 32,100. Wait, that. Oh, he was like, that was from like last week. That's why. Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah, 100%. So 32,100. So yeah, he pretty much he identified that as the low right there, and he took a buy from that point, which I think it lines up with the K2 SR as well. So if I go on the higher time frame, let's see, if we go like on the hour, let me just turn this off. So if we go here on the hour, and you identify that you turn off the K2 SR zones, maybe not on the hour, but on the higher time frames like the 4 hour. Okay, so the 4 hour right here, you can see that we have a perfectly drawn zone right there, right? That lines up with what Paul mentioned over here with his zone, because his zone was at 32,000, right? So my zone right here is actually a little bit lower, or no, it's a little bit higher. His zone was at 32,000 flat. So his zone was a little lower, but I mean, it's perfectly fine. It lines up just with ours right here as well. So it looks pretty solid for the most part, where he marked it up. Let's see. Yeah, Paul said look at 4 hour and daily. So if you look on the 4 hour right here, I turn on the K2 SR indicator. You guys can see how like useful these indicators are, because if you were to draw that, like I mentioned, like it identified where Paul identified his low right there for the entry point. It's a pretty good sweet spot. Like even just using this on the higher time frame, you can use the K2SR indicator to just buy the dips. That's what a lot of people do as well. They wait for price to dip, and then they just hop in at these dips, kind of similar to what Paul is doing. But Paul's doing it from scratch. So Paul was able to identify market structure on his own, which everyone can do that on their own as well. It's just, this makes things a whole lot easier because it takes the guesswork out of it. You don't have to go and guess, where these zones are. But yeah, no, it lines up perfectly with yours right here on the 4-hour, Paul. So that looks good right there. Your entry was somewhere around there. I think it's at 32,100. So yeah, it lines up perfectly with my zone right here as well. So this zone was created from here when it tested these areas right here. You can see, so in order for these zones to come up, price has to test the same exact price point more than twice. So it tested it here, it tested it here, here, and here. So when price tested the same exact price point, that's when the zone is created. So that's why when it tested it again right here, this helps you identify, where that entry would have been. So that's a good call right there, Paul. I'm not sure if you have the indicators or if you just identify this on your own, but you guys can see here that, it lines up pretty nice with everything else. And going on the daily as well, if we turn on the K2SR right there, same situation again right here. It just grabbed the lower zone right there, but there's another zone that was right here off the daily. So perfectly fine right there. But as you can see here, if you're even to trade US 30 on the daily, like if you had a big enough account to handle this, you can literally just buy the dips whenever it dips down. So like, for example, right here, if you were to use the K2SR indicator, price goes up, dips down, buy some more, dips up, dips down, buy some more, dips up, dips down, buy some more. And then same situation right here with, with Paul's markup, same thing right there. So you guys can see that it works perfectly fine. But yeah, no, definitely good call on that, Paul, 100%. But yeah, I don't really look on the higher time frames for US 30 because I scalp. So I just look on the shorter time frames, and then I just catch trades on there as I see them. Let me just mark these up real quick. This lower zone right here. There we go. All right, cool. All right, so let's go back to the peso real quick for Paul. So Paul wanted me to take a look at the peso. So that's going to be USD MXN. All right. So let's see. Price never broke the structure right here. Also, that's why it never played out like we thought it would be. We were just waiting for that to close above here like it did over here. But let's just do this from scratch. So I'm going to take everything off the chart. There's the naked chart right there. First thing I'm going to do is turn on the K2SR indicator to identify market structure. So this is the first step. We identify market structure so that we know exactly where to trade and where not to trade. So got that there. This right there. There. Let's see, what was that signal for? 10-minute. There, and lastly right there. All right, cool. So like looking at current price for the peso, I'm just gonna close this out right here and then zoom out. So you can see obviously right here, price broke into market structure on January 25th. So you can see from here, price broke into the structure right here. It pretty much went sideways for a bit until it broke above right here. And then this became, new market structure. From here, it kind of went up for a bit, broke into this area right here. Again, new market structure right there. So from that point, it pretty much came up and came back down. So from there, again, new market structure right here. So as you can see right here, so this is going to be the market structure that we're going to be more focused on. So I'm just going to delete all this stuff right here, but you guys can see how price kind of changed from each market structure. So from this area right here to this area right here to this area right here to now currently what's important, this area right here. This is basically what's happening for the peso. I mean, this is pretty much of, what's important. So like looking at this here, if I delete these zones right here, you guys can see that price has just been ranging between these two areas right here. Or actually, let's see. actually down here. So we can actually incorporate this lower area down here, even though price hasn't really broken to this area. So if I delete all these zones right here, if I just delete this stuff, you guys can kind of see that the points of importance are going to be probably within this whole area right here. So price is just ranging within this zone and this zone right here. It actually hasn't came all the way down. So what I think could happen here is this could actually come down to test this area down here because it hasn't tested it yet, right? So if I delete everything off here again, you guys can see that it attempted to make it down here. It broke structure, it faked out, came back up, like a double fake out, came up, came down, came up, came back down, but then it shot all the way up. So from this point right here, it looks like it can actually come back down and test this lower structure since it hasn't tested it, you know, just yet. Sorry guys, we get these like scammers in the groups. Let's see, Charles. It's like Charles, but it's a girl. And then she posts about Elon Musk. This is like crypto scam. I don't know why they keep posting this here. Like nobody falls for this shit, but people still, they still come in the group and post that stuff. All right, whatever. It's all good. Let me see what everyone else is doing over here. So let's see. C-Soup logged in about 500 today. So nice work, C-Soup. If you guys are in the premium, you guys can see everyone who's like pretty much profiting right now. Looks like Trell took this trade here for a sell. Other than that, I think that's about it for now. But anyways, back to what I was looking at earlier for the peso. So once we have this structure drawn up right here, the first thing I'm going to pull up from here is I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator. And right here, obviously, we have a bearish bias, right? So we have a rejection from this point up here. We have a sell signal right here. So our bias is for a sell right now. Let me turn this back off. So what I kind of see happening here, Paul is, so I don't really see too much movement. Obviously, it's still Sunday, so there's not very much volatility in the market. But I think overall, this is probably, well, there's two things that can happen. Price can either come up here and then come back down, or price can just come down from here and then come back to there. I mean, for this, like specifically right now, I don't really see it moving too much because it is Sunday. So not until tomorrow, we probably won't see very much movement. It's probably just going to range within this area here. We do have a sell bias though. So if price ends up closing below here, this is where I would take the sell because it would be its third attempt to break below here. This might be the actual move. So like, for example, here, it attempted to break right here. It faked out. Again, right here, it attempted, but it faked out. It just ended up shooting up. So this would be the third attempt right here. If it ends up coming down right here, I think it'll probably come down. Let me check the peso real quick. I don't know if there's an index for the Mexican peso. Let's see, MXY. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, so looking at the index right here, just move this to the, oh, it doesn't have a short time frame, huh? Yeah, it doesn't. All right, so looking at the Mexican index over here, the Mexican peso index, I mean, they're both bullish, so it's kind of risky for you to really determine, you know, what direction it's really going in because they're both kind of bullish right here. However, the Mexican peso looks a lot stronger than the dollar index. So that's what I mean about us waiting until tomorrow because the US market isn't even open yet. So there's not going to be much volatility here. But if the Mexican peso keeps pushing up, so you can see a really strong bullish candle right there, right? And this was from Friday. So this index hasn't moved since Friday. If it ends up pushing up higher and it continues to push up, then we could expect it to drop even further. Because if you guys are familiar with how the market moves, when price is going up, that means that the first currency is stronger than the second. Vice versa, when price is going down, that's going to indicate that the second currency is stronger than the first. So if the Mexican peso index right here, if this continues to push up, then we can expect it to drop from here even further. Vice versa, if this ends up coming down and this comes up further, then we could probably see a reversal for it to come back up in this direction. So I personally wouldn't mess with it yet, Paul. I would wait for some confirmation whether it closes below here or whether it closes above here. Because I feel like within this area right here, it's just going to keep ranging. You know, even if it comes above here, it might just come right back down. Or like vice versa, if it ends up coming down from here, it might just bounce back up. And you know, I don't like trading during a ranging market, especially if you're trading longer term or like intraday. I just don't really see much, you know, happening too much from here. So I think the important price points to be looking out for would be right here, which would be 21.04979, and down here, which would be 20.35176. So those are the two important price points. I personally wouldn't trade within these areas. I mean, you can if you want. If you're looking for some smaller moves, you can still make profit off these like small moves here. It's just I don't like taking risky trades, as you guys know. I only take trades when I know for sure that they're going to hit or not. All right, let me check the chat real quick. Looks like you guys had a couple of things that you guys talked about here. Let me scroll down real quick. Dave is asking, where do you get your sentiment figures from? I use IG sentiment. So I use IG for mine. IG is one of the biggest, brokers worldwide. So they have a big sample of clients where they pull the data from. MyFX book, I'm not sure where MyFX book pulls their data from. Let me see. Here, I'll look it up real quick. Let me see if I could find out where you're looking at from MyFX book. Forex sentiment. Here, let's see. Yeah, I mean, this could work too, Dave. I'm just not I'm not sure where they pull the data from, because they're like tied to so many other brokers. I'm not sure where they necessarily pull it from. I wouldn't pull data from Cedar FX if that's where they're pulling it from, or if this is just from the accounts that are connected to their to their MT4 or whatever. That might be where they're pulling it from. Not to say that this data is not correct. It's just I've never used it myself. I like to use more reliable brokers. That's why I use IG, because IG is an actual broker. My FX book is, let's see, data is based on verified real accounts, only refresh every 30 seconds. Yeah, I mean, they might be good. I'm not sure, because it shows it's only 73% of real accounts here. So I'm not sure how accurate their data would be. I mean, it could be as accurate as IG, but I would prefer to pull it from an actual broker, not necessarily from my FX book. But I mean, if this works for you, you can use this. But yeah, I personally use IG. So that's just what we use here. You can use my FX book if that works for you. But I personally haven't used it myself because I don't know. I'm assuming this is just the accounts that connect to my FX book, right? And I don't think I think their sample is probably not as big as the actual broker IG. So, I mean, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's really if it's been working for you, continue to use them, right? There's no problem. As long as it works for you, then continue to use them. But I personally haven't used them before, so I wouldn't necessarily know myself. Yeah, IG is international, Dave. They're located everywhere. It's one of the biggest brokers that's available. They've been in the game for a long time. To put simple, they're one of the regulated brokers that have been around for a while. So that's why I follow their data versus other data, which might not be as accurate. But I mean, if it works for you, continue to use them. All right, let me see if there's anything else here as we continue. Here, let's see. All right, I'm gonna skip through a lot of these other messages that were kind of covering something that we covered earlier. Yeah, Dave, I didn't realize there was a Mexican peso index either. But yeah, I guess it's called MXY for the peso, but it doesn't look like it's open yet, because if you look at the cursor here, the last time it was open was on the 26th. So I'm not sure if there's another. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's another. Let me just check real quick. Peso index. Mexican index. Yeah, it looks like MXY would be their index. They're just not. Their market just hasn't opened yet, so they don't have current data. Well, I mean, they probably do have current data, but Oh no, they don't. It says market's closed. So this is probably going to update tomorrow morning. So by that point, you can determine, you know, how it's going to move. But I don't really see it moving too much, Paul, from now until tomorrow. It's probably just going to go sideways for a bit. So I would sit tight on that. Here, let's see. Anything else over here before I continue on? Yeah, so Paul said I saw Dragonfly Doji deviant on the MXY. Yeah, honestly, I'm not even gonna bother like I try and identify that, Paul, because I don't trade patterns, so I'm not even sure. Yeah, let me just look it up real quick. You mentioned, I'm just gonna Google it to see if I could find something, because I never trade patterns, but you know it wouldn't hurt to check it out. See Dragonfly. See, do they have a picture here? All right, cool. Let's see. So this is what. Oh yeah, I can see it. So that's exactly what's right here off this one. Yeah, no, if that's the case, then yeah, it's probably gonna be bullish. It's probably gonna be bullish, Paul, because you know it's on the daily too, so it's probably gonna push up pretty heavily off here. So if that's the case and this continues to push up, then you could expect the peso to continue to drop further. See if there's anything else for me to look at here. Dave said, can you even make money on this pair? Yeah, you could. It's just the spread's like super wide. Like for the peso, the spread's like 131 pips. So if you were to take, like, say, for example, if you took this trade right here for a sell, I mean, yeah, it looks like you can make a lot of money off this too. Dave, I mean, I personally don't like trading stuff that has really wide spread, but I don't know like what your move would be here. But let's see. I think if it was about 1,300 or 13,000 pips, I guess, yeah, you could still cover spread and still make profit off. I've seen other people make profit off this trade here. I don't necessarily trade it myself, but I've seen other people in the group who trade the peso, and they've done pretty well off it. Let me see. I think Spencer did. Let me see. I don't know if Spencer's in here right now. I know me and Spencer, we talked about the peso like for a while. See if I could find anything here for him. I know when Spencer first joined K2, he asked a lot about the peso. Yeah, let's go super far back, Spencer. I'm looking at our chats from like way back. Looks like he traded it like back in August of like last year. Yeah, I think Spencer is the only person I know in K2 that trades the peso, or that used to trade the peso. It was pretty accurate. That's why he made some pretty decent profit off it. But I don't necessarily know anyone else who trades it currently. Dang, yeah, the last time we talked about it, Spencer, was on June 2nd of last year. So June 2nd of last year, Spencer took this peso trade, and you know, it's a pretty nice profit he made off it. That's back in like June 2nd. So that's a long time ago. I don't know anyone else who still trades it, but I mean, you can make money off any pair, really, Dave. It's just, you know, if you find something that works, you can just apply it to that specific pair. All right, let me see if there's anything else real quick. Dave said, what I like about FX Book with the popularity index, meaning you don't want to be in a trade with the other traders. Oh yeah, no, definitely, Dave. Like that's definitely a plus. If you can identify where people are trading, if that's the case and it gives you that hint, that hint could be the difference between you being on the wrong side of the trade or you being on the right side. So no, definitely. If it works for you, continue to use it. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you from using that. As long as it works, continue to use it. If it doesn't work, then you can find other solutions. But I think for now, it should probably do you well. So if you guys took this entry here for, actually, there's no entry off here after 3 minutes. Yeah, other than that, guys, I don't think there's really much for us to look at today because the market is still really, really slow. So if you guys have questions, you know, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll probably be calling this session off a little early today as we prepare further for the trading week. So there might be a scalp that's available here, guys. We got about 3 minutes left on this candle. If you guys are familiar with the Snipe strategy, This might be a snipe entry right here for you guys if you guys are looking for a buy. So we'll have to see. We got about 3 minutes left on this candle. So if this candle does close, I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm probably not going to call it as an official trade because, you know, the market is just too slow right now. It's not a risk that I necessarily want to take. And also, price is just ranging right now for USD. So just looking at this here, it's literally just going sideways from this point. And the pivots are choppy, right? So the pivots aren't smooth. Like for example, here we take buys here. We take buys here, take sells here. But when price is choppy like it is right here, it's just too risky for me to want to take a trade at this point. So this is not something that I would necessarily take. But if you guys want to take it, you know, I'll mark this up for you guys. We got about 2 minutes left on this candle. So once it does close, I will give you guys the, you know, the update. Hey, what's up, Kadri? How's it going, bro? I haven't seen you in a while, man. Well, no, actually, I've seen you in the chat. You pop in every once in a while, but I haven't really talked to you in a while. Dave mentioned trading is no man's land. It's kind of risky. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't really trade exotics, Dave. Like I see some people trade exotics and they do well trading them. I just personally don't like trading them. I like trading stuff that has high volatility and that actually moves like consistently. The thing with exotics is they can literally do whatever they want. So, you know, you can get lucky or you can get unlucky. But if you find a way to trade them, you know, consistently, then I don't see why not. All right, so checking this out right here, we got about a minute left on this candle. Just a reminder, guys, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat right now. Otherwise, you know what, we might be cutting the session a little early because there really isn't much for us to look at right now. I don't want to force any trades, and I think it'd be better off if we just wait until the market opens tomorrow for us to call some actual trades. The next 4-hour candle closes in about 2 hours anyways, so I don't really feel the need for us to sit around for 2 hours to identify some Forex trades, which I'm going to call anyways in the premium group. So waiting for this to close right here. Like I mentioned, guys, if you guys want to take this trade, you guys can take it. It just isn't, you know, it just isn't going to be a safe trade. And I'll go over the strategy right now as well before I get off. Nice, Kadri. Yeah, no, definitely, bro. It's good to see you, man. Because like, you know, I know you've been busy over there, where you're located and stuff, and you've been, you know, just a lot of stuff going on in the world. So glad to see you around. You're doing well. So we got 15 seconds left on this candle right here. If it does reject off this point, then this would be an entry for you guys if you guys decide to take this scalp. So we got about 5 seconds left on this candle. 1 second. There we go. So if you guys want to take this trade, this would be the scalp right here. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to take it. It's a risky trade, so I'm not going to take it. I don't necessarily recommend you guys take it, but if you guys want to take it, this is going to be an entry. Like I mentioned, Sunday is a risky time to trade. And I'll show you what the strategy is. So this is going to be the K2 Snipe Strategy for US 30 on the 10-minute time frame. So first, you just want to confirm a wick rejection off the K2 pivot, which can be any pivot. To confirm wick rejection off K2 SR zone. And then lastly, confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot does not touch candle body. And that's pretty much it. So looking at this right here, you can see that there's another entry that was available right here, right? So same exact strategy. We just look for, here I'm just going to back up to here. So from right here, confirm a wick rejection off the K2 pivot, wick rejection off the K2 SR zone, and you just want to make sure that the pivot doesn't touch the body. So first requirements right here, this wick touches the green pivot and yellow pivot. So that's the first requirement. The second requirement is that it's rejecting off this zone right here. And lastly, you just want to make sure that the pivot isn't touching the body. So with that said, we enter a short position right here. TP stop loss is going to be 500 pips or 50 points, depending on what you're trading, if you're trading the future or the indices. So with that said right there, we just have that lined up. We let it run. And there you go, full TP. So that's pretty much the same strategy that we're applying right here for this scalp. Obviously, you can see that it does work. Like on Sunday, it's just riskier. So that's why I wouldn't mess with it. It's currently like pushing in profit now. So like I mentioned, if you guys want to take it, you guys can. If not, that's cool too. Sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. But yeah, this is an entry here for a buy if you guys want to take it. I'm not going to take it, so I'm not going to advise that you guys do take it. But if you guys want to, it's available. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for now. Let me see if there's anything else. Dave mentioned, when you mentioned the pivots, are you referring to the, it's not necessarily a moving average. This is the algorithm that I created for these pivots here. It's different things that are factored in. So it's not necessarily just moving average. There's it's factored in with a couple other things. It's the K2 pivot, Dave. So if you go watch the videos, you'll see what the difference is between the K2 pivot and other stuff. These are like 4 levels of pivots that we use. So there's something else that's factored into it. It's not just normal moving average. So it's the same with like these other indicators as well, like the K2SR indicator. A lot of people think it's just the swing highs or the pivots, but it's not necessarily just that. So for example, if I take this off right here, you can see that we have zones drawn up, right? But some people sometimes think that it's just like the swing highs and swing lows, but in reality, it's a lot of other things. So like right here, we have a swing high. Obviously, this is also a swing high, but there's no zone there, right? So all these indicators have been created for a specific reason, to look for something specific. So this would be the K2 pivot. I wouldn't call it a moving average because a lot of people get confused. Like some people try to just use moving averages, and then they're like, oh, why didn't I get that same rejection point? Because they're not a moving average. It's mixed with something else. So that's what you would be using. It'd be the K2 pivot indicator. But yeah, so I think that's about it, guys. I don't know if there's any other questions, but I don't see anything in the chat. So I think this is going to be it for this session. Just a reminder, if you guys didn't have your questions answered today, I want to be live again in about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In about 10 hours. So I will be back in the next 10 hours or so, or less than 10 hours, maybe like 9 hours, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. actually, for the normal trading session. So I've drawn all the zones here for our Forex pairs. We're pretty much ready to look for some trades. If I see anything off the next candle close, and I'll call it for you guys. Let's see, like for example, right here for odd CAD, if this ends up closing, so we have a rejection from this point, we have a buy signal right here. If this candle ends up closing below, above here actually, if this closes like how it's closing right now, then we would take a long position right here and then ride this up to the next structure. So this candle still has about an hour and 35 minutes. That's why there's no point in us really hanging around for like 2 hours until it closes, unless we have questions. But there's no questions right now. So I think for the most part, we're probably going to call the session off a little early, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning for the normal trading session. Dave mentioned, I heard you mention it in the video, plus market structure. Yeah, it's called the K2 pivot, not a moving average. So if you want to look that up, everything has its own name. Like it says K2 pivot there, K2 SR, K2 momentum. So everything has its own name, and they're named for their own specific reason. Yeah, Pacific time for us, Dave. So 6:30 Pacific time, which would be New York Stock Exchange open. We basically hop on when the stock exchange opens, and then from that point we start looking for some scalps off US 30. But I also look at trades for Forex as well. So same with this right here, guys. If this ends up closing below this structure, above this structure, then we would take a buy right here as well. So I'll just mark these up right now. So I'll look over these real quick before we log off, in case you guys have any other questions you guys want to ask before I log off. But there's a couple possible entries here for these pairs. So same situation right here. a short position right there. CAD CHF. I'm just going to mark these up. So if I see any entries here when the candle closes, then we can take them. So rejection off this point. Sell signal right there. I probably wouldn't take this trade. There's not enough space. It's only 13 pips. Not worth the risk. Euro odd, nothing there. USDHF, nothing there. EG, nothing there. Nothing there, nothing there. Nothing there, yeah, nothing there. So as you guys can see, like if you guys have this market structure drawn up, it's going to be really simple for you guys to identify trades because we already have the structure drawn up. We just look at momentum to identify, which direction to trade in. So for example, right here for GU, this might be a possible sell right there, which I'll go back and look at in the next 2 hours or so. So I just went over all these pairs here, pretty much covered everything for the most part. So I think that's it, guys. So let's see. Yeah, Dave, I'll take a look at that. Did you confirm that you gave the proper username? Because I looked at the username that you gave me and it shows that you have access to it. So if you can go and confirm your username, or have you tried to log out of your trading view and log back in, that usually fixes it. If that's not the case, then you probably gave me the wrong username. So if you can go back and check your username, Dave, and then just confirm that, I can change it in the system. But the username that you gave me has access to it already. So I will take a look at that, Dave. But if you can just make sure that that's the proper username, I'll make some changes. So other than that, guys, thanks for showing up. I'll be back in about 9 hours at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time for the normal trading session. And then we can, we can hop on for some more trades tomorrow. But I think for tonight, guys, you guys should be careful. Don't like hop into stuff for no reason. Like only hop into trades if you guys are sure about something, because it's a risky time to trade right now. The market hasn't fully opened and direction hasn't been established yet, So I'll catch you guys a little later. And I think that's about it. So I'll catch you guys in about 9 hours or so.